All right, good afternoon. This is Kerry Meldon with Meldon Law and Friends. We've got a crowded table today, but we're all friends here, so we can be a little bit close, post-COVID for sure. We are going to be joined by Mr. Ovidio Santiago and Mr. Bill Foster here. We'll talk to them about Premier Events, which is a really cool company, has a lot of different things going on, and their background, what brought them together in the next segment. But before we do that, we want to, obviously, as we always do, advise our listeners out there of our upcoming Meldon Law events. So this Saturday, April 29th, Meldon Law is powering the City of Williston's annual Makin Bacon Festival at Heritage Park in Williston from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And our newest Meldon Law attorney, Lot Bullock, will be participating as a judge for the Best Bacon Contest. So if you guys haven't been out to Williston, it's a pretty small area. There's Heritage Park. You can't miss it when you're driving into Williston on Williston Road. This attorney that works with us is a seventh-generation Williston resident, and he is a celebrity. I think you guys are familiar. I don't know if you're familiar. Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about the annual Makin Bacon Festival. But Lot Bullock is going to be our guest judge, and I hope he has to eat a lot of bacon. That's what we're all hoping. We're going to be pushing some people. I'm going to be out of town, but we have some employees coming to witness the festival. So once again, that's in Williston between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. at Heritage Park, and it's the annual Makin Bacon Festival. The next event that we have at Meldon Law is the April 30th Gators Women's Ladies Softball game. We'll be a part of Fan Fest before the game, which starts at 10:30 a.m. The game starts at noon. You come by, you spin the wheel, and you're going to win some Gators swag. We guarantee you every single spin is a win. And you get there at 10:30. The Ladies Gators softball team is excellent. They're always national contenders. This year is no different. Thursday, May 11th. This is a big one. Excuse me, I was getting over something a couple days ago, so I may be a little bit congested. So bear with me here, but we're going to get through this. Thursday, May 11th is the annual Meldon Law TV20 Scholar Athlete Banquet at the UF Hilton. Check-in starts at 6 p.m., and this is going to be an incredible production. We've got TV20 already pre-taping a lot of these announcements in terms of these scholar athletes throughout North Central Florida. I believe it covers 8 or 9 different counties, which is really incredible. It's both there's an equal amount of male and female senior scholar athletes, and they represent the best of the best. In fact, I believe the keynote speaker this year is going to be Ian Scott, who played for the Chicago Bears. He was valedictorian at Gainesville High School. He ended up graduating UF with a mechanical engineering degree, and then got drafted in the 4th round by the Chicago Bears and played for 6 years in the NFL. So he's the kind of person you want speaking at that type of scholar athlete banquet. So we're really excited about that. That's going to occur on May 11th. May 12th through Saturday, May 13th is the Wabash 23 Music Festival. This is the first ever Wabash 23 Music Festival. Wabash is a fairly new radio station. It kind of plays some like hip, progressive type music, and it's a celebration of Gainesville's music and arts heritage. Meldon Law will participate on Friday at First Magnitude Brewery from 6 to 9:30 p.m., and there's going to be a great lineup including Sister Hazel, The Slims, Morning Bell, and so many more bands I'm probably not familiar with, but I'm sure they're very good. And so they'll be out there at, I believe it's Depot Park, right across from Depot Park. There's, and I forgot the name of the studio. And Dad's going to get really mad because it's his favorite place to watch music in Gainesville. It's a brand new studio right across from Depot Park. If you can think of it, let me know. Oh, Heartwood Studios. Yep. It's going to be at the Heartwood Studios in Depot Park. So you can't miss it. Saturday, May 13th, which is the same day as the music festival, there is the 28th annual Bob Dooley Invitational Golf Tournament at Ironwood Golf Course, which supports Stopping Children's Cancer Organization, and we're proud to participate. We're going to be at the golf course all day on Saturday, and all participants and volunteers can spin the prize and win Gator swag. I could promise you, there's not many other law firms that are going to this many events in this short of a time, but you have to do it if you're really going to be a part of the community. We're fortunate we get a lot from this community. They have given us 50 years at our firm. It's not an accident that we've been around for 50 years. It's because you have to put the time in, and more importantly, you have to give back. Yes. You can only take if you give. So that's something that we feel very passionate about, and I'm always impressed with our marketing team. If you have any questions about any of these events, or if you want tickets to the Gator softball or any other sporting event, make sure you go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law Facebook page. We're always giving away free tickets to any sporting event involving the Gators. And also you can also review all of our podcasts stemming back to March 2020, or right after March 2020. I think it was in the fall when we started the podcast during COVID, and we have not missed a week. So every week we're in here interviewing really cool people. They're doing really cool things, and this week is no exception. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about Premier, and Mr. Foster and Mr. Santiago are going to have the floor, and hopefully they'll do more speaking, and I'm going to do more listening. All right? Absolutely. All right, guys. All right, so we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back in about 1 minute.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street, and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there! Say hi!
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else hit us here!
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Okay, we're back here at Meldon Law and Friends, the official Meldon Law podcast. Every Tuesday at 4 p.m. we go on the air and we talk about some fun local things. It's not a legal based show, it's more of a community based show. And so without further ado, we're going to get into this week's show. We have special guests Ovidio Santiago and Bill Foster from Premiere. And before we get started, you guys were kind of giving me some insight on the Makin Bacon Festival. What do you all know about the Makin Bacon Festival?
Let me tell you, people love their bacon. And anything you can imagine with bacon on it, you're going to see it at this event.
So do you have any participation in the event?
Oh, I sample here and there. I'm not going to lie.
We wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't do that.
Right. So tell me a little bit, I mean, what do you know about the event, the Makin Bacon Festival?
Well, it's the third year we're doing it. We moved it to downtown Williston. The city of Williston asked us if we could bring the event to Williston.
Okay.
Because it's grown over the past 2 years. And it was quite honestly, it was outgrowing where we were doing it previously.
Right.
And with us bringing it to Williston, we're able to draw more people from Marion County and Alachua County because we were seeing that a lot of people that were traveling to the Bacon Festival were coming from different counties.
Well, not to put the cart before the horse, when you say us, who are you referring to?
Bill and I.
And who do Bill and you work for?
Bill and I are Premier Events NCF.
All right, let's start off with, we're going to get back to Makin Bacon in a few minutes, but I want to start off with Premier NCF. Tell me a little bit about the company.
Well, it started years and years ago down in South Florida. We partnered up under a company called Wild O Productions. I was the Wild of it. He was the O. Because back in the radio days, I was called Wild Bill for...
And I was referred to as Big O.
As Big O.
Really?
So we combined a company and called it Wild O Productions. And we started dabbling in concert venues, events, big venues. Partnered up with the radio stations that we'd worked with prior down in South Florida. Pulled off some pretty successful genre type of concerts. I mean, we did everything from 70s discos to 80s freestyle to 90s, and we've worked with a lot of artists over the years.
We've done country, rock,
we've done
pop,
probably just about any genre music you can.
Where in South Florida were you all located?
Cooper City and Fort Lauderdale, but the station we grew up working for was Y100, which is the oldest heritage station in the United States, out in Miami.
What do you mean by a heritage station?
Top 40.
Okay.
Yeah, top 40 mainstream
They're
radio.
probably one of the most well-known radio stations in the country.
Still around?
Still around.
Wow. So how do you get into radio? Like what's the initial I know everyone listens to music. We all love it. When we were growing up, the radio was king, right?
Yes.
Everybody would listen and try to be the seventh caller to make sure that you're getting whatever prize.
I did that myself.
Calling in for song requests and dedicating it to somebody that was like the biggest deal in town. And so I guess when you guys were starting out, it was like that was it. That was the king of cool.
It's funny you mentioned the call-ins because, and I know probably a lot of the kids don't like to hear this these days, but when I graduated high school, I had the ambition to go to college, and I went to college, and I just decided, wow, this isn't for me. It's not my passion. It's not what I want to do. So I went to a technical radio school, graduated from there, learned hands-on all the production, morning show stuff, speaking on microphones, things like that, and using, mix boards and all that stuff. And that's where my part of it started initially. And I carried that further, went to work for Y100, which was one of the top stations down there in South Florida. I worked for them for probably 12 plus years.
Wow.
And then
that's a long time.
I did anything and everything in radio, from promotions to on-air work with the morning show. I tell funny stories how I was the guy that would knock on David Lee Roth's door in the middle, 6 o'clock in the morning after a show to try to get an interview with him.
Wow.
And he literally kicked me down the stairs. He came out of his room and he was like, you! And I was like, whoa, it's getting a little dangerous here. I'm doing what I get paid for.
Hey, I'm not calling you Sammy. Maybe you kind of look like Sammy Hagar. Maybe mistook you back in the day.
I've done stuff with Sammy Hagar, by the way, And it just kind of grew from there, and that was when radio was really fun back in the day. It wasn't so like corporate that it is now. I mean, it's still fun, but you don't see promotional teams anymore in radio stations like when we used to do it.
We had stunt People, stuntmen, doing all the crazy stunts for the morning show.
Wow.
You'd follow cars.
How would you do that on the radio? It makes do you just listen to it?
They refer to it as theater of the mind.
Okay, I remember that.
You build it up. Yeah.
And so you guys were at the same place. It's when you guys first met.
Well, no, actually, I came on board Y100, which was Clear Channel Radio, after he had left.
Oh,
and then I was with another station under that conglomerate called Mega 1035, and I would help Y100 with their Jingle Ball concert and all those events. And my program director said, hey, there's someone I think you should meet, and told him the same thing. So he came into this station one day, and they introduced us, and we hit it off right then and there. And the format of the station was rhythmic music that made Miami famous. So we were playing the Gloria Estefan, John Cicada, Casey and Sunshine Band, freestyle. So Bill hit me, I was like, can we do a freestyle show? You want to work on something? I was like, yeah. So we started reaching out to the artists through the radio station relationships. And we actually put together the biggest freestyle concert in South Florida in years.
When you say freestyle, what do you mean by freestyle?
Lisa.
Okay,
and
Nicole Jam, of course.
Yep. Stevie B.
Expose.
Yeah, that was the hottest stuff in the 80s and early 90s. That was it.
So we have put an event together. It was called Freestyle Reunion Uno in the Coconut Grove Convention Center. And it sold out within a month, I think.
It was probably less than that, yeah.
And it was at the same time the MTV Awards were taking place in Miami.
Okay.
So it sold out while the MTV Awards were happening.
Wow.
And there were people knocking on the door begging for us to let them into the venue.
We were at literally fire capacity. We couldn't fit another person in there. Because it was standing room only. It wasn't like a seated, And
then you had the crossover audience that was at the MTV Music Awards. So this was that's pretty cool.
It was, so that's how we met, and we had such a passion for music because I always wanted to be a DJ myself growing up. I loved the mic. And when I was in college, I had 2 turntables and my speakers, and I would be in what they call the quad at the dorms, and I was the guy who put the speakers at the window and had entertaining everybody throughout the day.
I'm sure you got some notifications from the dean's office.
Oh yes,
a couple times.
Oh yes. I ended up lasting 1 year in that campus.
Was that down in South? Or?
No, it was in CW Post, Long Island University, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were East Coast. You were an East Coast DJ then.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when he came to me, I was very excited about it. That was my passion. Music was my passion, music and sports. And we started doing events from there. We got separated for a while because he moved up here and I was down there. So I then started doing something else. He started pursuing something else. And now it's been 3 years again. We decided to form Premier Events.
Yep.
And we've been doing festivals here in the North Florida market.
How the hell... Excuse my language. How the heck did you get to North Florida from South Florida? Because this is like night and day. So
That's what I asked him.
I want to know.
I got to be honest.
How are you sitting in this podcast room here today?
I got to be honest with you. My best friends at the time, we grew up since 5th or 6th grade. We decided we were just tired of South Florida, the traffic and the just negativity and everything involved.
The hustle.
And I says, you know what? I owned a couple of restaurants down there, and I owned a bar, and I sold them all. And I said, you know what? I'm ready to move. And we were sitting in my bar that night, and my best friend, I go, look, I'm ready to pack up and move. I'm going to put my house up for sale. And he goes, okay, well, I'll put my townhouse up for sale. We'll both move together. Okay, sounds good. Little did I know, I put my house up for sale, and it sold in 1 day with a backup offer of $10,000 more. And I go, oh boy, this is reality now, man. And my wife's looking at me and going, okay, wise guy, what do we do now? I go, well, we got 30 days to get out.
Yeah.
And we just packed it all up, and our friends kind of were lucky enough to sell their townhouse at the same time within probably about a week or two.
When was this?
This was about 16 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And literally, we drove
right before the market crashed.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
right before.
Yeah.
So we did well, and we came up here, and we just drove up every weekend, and we just kept coming further north and further north, and we'd stay with my friend's sister just to crash for the weekend, and until we found property, and we were just driving. And I live currently in Morriston.
Yeah.
Which people like, what is Morrison? It's the sticks is what it is.
It is.
But how we found it was just, we saw a buy owner sign And the guy happened to own 2 properties right next to each other, acre and a quarter, acre and a quarter.
And if you grew up in South Florida,
Yeah.
what you're looking for is some
Yeah.
some privacy, something different.
Yeah.
If you're going to be up here, you might.
No
as well
zero
have-
lot line.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't exist in our neighborhood. so.
Yes, and that's great.
And we happened to find it, and we made the guy an offer. We bought both lots, put houses on them, and was,
Never look back.
never looked back. He moved to Colorado with to follow his daughter's dreams, and so they moved there, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. But we still talk all the time. And
So you've seen the growth of North Central Florida yourself.
oh yeah,
It's
I see it in
different.
Williston
Yeah.
and Morrison. I mean,
Yeah.
it's growing by the day. I see people, just constant lumber trucks coming through the neighborhoods and building and building.
And where are most of them from?
They're all from South Florida. I'm telling you.
Well, the land is finite,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
So, well, for you got probably another 10 or 20 years before it gets too crazy. But and the point is that you guys came. So how did you guys get to where you both were up here? Because I know what Bill's
Well,
story
I
is.
actually
Ovidio.
live in southern Sarasota County.
Okay.
Yeah, because after he moved, he gave me the itch. Because he was knocking some sense into me. I said, look at South Florida, look how crowded it's getting.
Right.
So I would take trips up the West Coast myself, and I came across this
I love
town
Sarasota
called
County.
Northport, which is southern Sarasota.
Uh-huh.
And I did some research on it, and I happened to be going to New York one time on a plane, and I opened up a magazine, there it is, welcome to Northport. And I'm like, that's a sign.
Yeah.
So then I put my condo up for sale,
Uh-huh.
and I moved out to Northport. I started working for Clear Channel Radio in Sarasota
Okay.
market. I was their senior promotions manager for all 6 radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
And told Bill, hey, I'm a lot closer now. Got to come visit you. And I visited him actually when he had his first property. And he reached out to me. He's going to be about 4 years ago now. He reached out to me. It's like, listen, I have an idea I want to throw at you. And I know we can make it work together. He told me about Premier Events. And it's like, if you can come up with a couple ideas, I can probably get us some properties we can do events on. I was like, okay, I'm down to do it. Because I'm a workaholic.
Right.
You
want to keep busy.
Yeah, I've been known to work 5 jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
At times, okay? And at the time I was coaching baseball, working
So
a
was I.
full-time job.
Wow.
Okay? And then this came along. And I'm having to shuttle my daughter between gymnastics competitions, cheerleading, and dance stuff at the same time. And so we sat down one night, and I was like, I got some ideas. And he tells me, what about bacon? I was like, bacon? I like that. Because I thought of barbecue, chili, chicken wings. And he brings up bacon. And I was like, let's think about that a little longer. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, man, we could make this happen. I said, we'd have to have our vendors create dishes with bacon on everything, primarily. Because what's not good with,
Nothing.
everything's good with bacon.
Everything's good
Yeah.
with bacon, right?
So
really
that's how we
is.
started the conversation, and we've built about 14 events over the years that we
Wow.
do. Yeah, we do a classic car and bike show. We do a Jeep event.
We do a give thanks to the veterans event.
Yeah, which Meldon Law was a part of last year.
Last year, you guys were a part of it.
We do an 80s event, a 90s event. We do a Spring Fest.
Rocktoberfest.
We do Rocktoberfest around Halloween time. We do the Williston Fiesta, which was the first Latin festival in Levy County history, and very successful. We do an international food and music festival. We do fireworks shows for cities.
And you guys are doing a lot of the outlying counties, which is a little bit different, right?
Yes.
That's does that
Yes.
make your business model a little unique?
I would say so.
Definitely.
It's challenging in the same sense.
Of course, because the
But-
population is not
Yeah,
there. You
yeah,
have to bring
yeah.
the population into the event.
And,
a lot
and
of
that's the
times.
key, because we avoid saturation. It's one thing, whether it's picking the artists and the entertainment that we have for our events. We try not to use the same old people. They deserve to work, but it's like, we want to bring in fresh, that people are like, wow, where did you get these guys from? So we bring a lot of in from Orlando, from Jacksonville,
Fort Lauderdale,
Fort Lauderdale,
Southern
yeah.
Georgia.
Right.
North Miami Beach.
People that can deliver
Yes.
what the audience is looking for.
And at the same time, we try to make, we did our research. The city of Williston is an attractive place. You've got the Devil's Den, you've got Blue Grotto, you've got the Elephant Sanctuary out there. It's an up and coming area. And so we realize we can't get sponsors in Williston, but we can get sponsors on the outskirts,
Right.
Marion and Alachua County. So let's make Wilson an attractive destination for people.
That's a great idea. And I think you guys understand, you know, from your experience knowing your audience, right? Like that too often you go to events and like you see like a really big act, but it just doesn't fit the audience. And you can have a no-name act that if it fits the audience right, everyone's gonna be jiving, having a great time, and it becomes an experience. It's really an art. I think it's learned over years and years of and you guys are both audience-based due to your experience, that you understand that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about what you like, it's about what is the audience like.
And trust me, you know, we, after every event, we recap after every single event. We'll sit up at night till 2 o'clock in the morning, as tired as we are, because it's me and him that run the show.
Right.
We don't have volunteers, you know, we handle everything from the marketing, the social media, the production, the entertainment, you know, the day of, run of show. We do that on our own. You know, we don't have a staff of 10 or 12. So
you guys are really just, you guys are delegating, making sure that, well, basically you're running it yourself, but you gotta make sure all the vendors are there and that you got everything you need.
And trust me, we've had our, you know, through the years and through the events, there's been some that we finished the day and said, check that one off.
Yeah.
You know, it just didn't work.
Right.
You know, and you got to go through those trials and tribulations to say.
I would like to say I've won every single jury trial I've ever tried. The answer is I have not.
Yes.
I've lost a few. Okay. However, I can tell you I've learned more from my losses than I've learned from my victories.
Oh yeah.
Because you understand the feeling of when things don't go right, and you want to avoid that feeling at any cost. Whereas the wins, you just don't. You know, it's just a win.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit to you have to actually do it.
Yeah.
You can't just say it. Everything in theater, if it's just theoretical, it's just theoretical, right?
And to add to that, we've taken a page out of the Meldon Law book. You know, we listen to our vendors. We listen to our patrons. We're all about making everyone happy.
Yeah.
You know, I know we can't make every single individual happy, but we do our best to make everyone happy, the masses.
Well, we really appreciate you guys being on board with us because I can tell you we're the one thing that I think we both understand is you have to be consistent. You know, it takes years and years to get that traction. And that's why we've done the podcast. Most people did the podcast during COVID and they stopped, right? Like after about 2 or 3 months, you're like, no one's listening. You know, we honestly, we don't care if anyone's listening. We're still going to do it every single Tuesday.
That's great.
Because we know at some point it's going to break through. We've done a radio show on Odyssey. It used to be The Sky, 97.3 FM, the conservative talk show radio. We've been doing that for 16 years, I think. It's the longest consecutive legal talk show in the southeastern United States. We've been doing our newsletter for almost 20 years, where we send out a paper newsletter to over 15,000 subscribers. And the reason I'm telling you this is that I think with your event, it's going to be the same thing. As you continue to do it, people are going to be like, I remember going to the annual, the Makin Bacon Festival, and it was awesome. You got to go next year, but you can't. They won't go the second year if you don't have it the first year.
Exactly.
And it just to have that knowledge that you guys have, it puts you a step ahead of a lot of these people who think that they're just going to turn it on. Oh, I'm going to run a promo, or I'm going to run an event, and I'm going to be big, right? Like, it doesn't happen that way all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're in talks already because all the calls, the text messages, the emails we're getting, we're like, where do we move the event to next year if it outgrows this area? You know, because it's just that many people looking forward to the event this weekend.
Well, Alachua's got a nice a park too, so you can always you can keep moving it. But Wilson is going to be great, and I can tell you right now that the Gainesville can use more events. I can, especially acts. There's been the major complaint I get is there's not that many great musical acts in Gainesville, right? And so I know you guys are doing a bunch of different types of stuff, but it's hard to bring in really good acts for some reason. It used to be that they would, in the 80s, I think in the 70s especially, they'd start off in Miami, they'd take the tour bus up to Orlando, and then they would, on the way to Jacksonville or Atlanta, they'd stop in Gainesville and do a show just to make some quick money. So on a Sunday, you get like a Sunday night show, right? Or a Monday night show in Gainesville, and then you would go on.
It used to be very easy to route acts.
You could route acts.
Nowadays, they take their big shows and...
My father's in Israel. I wish he was here because I don't know if you guys have been to the Matheson Museum, but there is a rock and roll exhibit that's based upon his Great Southern Music Hall that he was an event owner of from 1974 to 1978. And the amount of acts that came through Gainesville during those 4 years was incredible.
Yes.
But you used to be able to route acts.
Oh, yeah.
But now you just have to be more creative. You have to figure out, like you said, you guys will go to Fort Lauderdale or Orlando or Georgia and you have to be really intentional about the right acts for the right production, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you
it's
got
not
to build
just-
an event around that act.
Yeah,
You
which
know,
is,
pretty
to
much.
me, it's like
Yeah.
it's like creativity at 100, especially when you're dealing with people who probably aren't, they're going to be very intentional about what events they want to go to. Like if you're in Miami, right, everyone's going to go see Taylor Swift or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like there's no art to that. It's just a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
But so
no, trust me, we're in the works, as you say that.
For Gainesville.
For Gainesville.
well, let's talk a little bit about that. Do we have any events coming to Gainesville?
Well,
anytime
we're in
soon?
discussions currently. And one of them is with the
Bo Diddley.
Bo Diddley Plaza.
That's downtown Gainesville.
Yeah. So
that's a great venue.
we're going to be meeting with them this week, hopefully to
Thursday.
squeeze them in on Thursday to discuss doing some future events there. And then we're looking at some other venues as possibilities as well because, we've never pigeonholed ourselves. We're willing to stretch out to anywhere we can make something happen.
Sure.
It's
I went
always-
out to a wedding this past couple weeks ago out in Newberry. I forgot what the name of the venue. It was a nice little venue. It was in the middle of a horse farm, and it was an outdoor. It's a wedding. It was mostly wedding ceremonies.
The Rocks? I say no.
But it was a wedding. As they do mostly wedding ceremonies. But I'm looking out there. I'm like, it's beautiful, and there's unlimited parking.
Yes.
Because I know for events, a lot of times that's the issue. Is you got to find. You guys have to look at logistics the way that other people don't really have to think about it.
Yeah, we take into consideration the surface itself. If it rains, our car's going to get stuck.
Yeah.
We got to take all that into consideration.
So in this, like for the rest of this year, what events do we have that you guys can maybe list for the listeners out there?
Okay, Makin Bacon is this Saturday.
Okay, and just give some details out there. Like we know it's bacon related. Like,
Yeah, it's.
Is there people have to wear something? Is there any hats?
People do wear their bacon T-shirts.
Oh, they'll bring out the shirts.
Yeah, they'll bring out their bacon T-shirts. We've had one person dress in a bacon costume one time. And there will be a best bacon dish competition in 3 categories: appetizer, entree, and dessert. There's a bacon eating contest.
Yes.
Okay, and then you've got entertainment being provided by Ken Apperson. He's a great musician out of the Tampa market.
Okay.
That's from 11 to 5. It's a totally
What kind of
free
music?
event.
What kind of musician? What kind of music is
Everything from Tom Petty and John Mayer to Ed Sheeran and
he's got a
James
nice
Taylor.
variety.
He plays a little bit of everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very good artist. And it's
Kids
free
zone?
admission, free parking. We have a kids zone. We have arts and craft vendors. We have over.
God, I really want to go.
Oh no, it's going to be quite an event. Then we follow that up with Memorial Weekend. We have the Saved by the 90s Music Festival.
And that's the end of May.
That's the end of May, May 27th. Then we've got
What's that festival about?
all about the 90s. We have a 90s tribute band playing
Okay.
called Never Say Never.
Okay.
They're out of Fort Lauderdale. And then we've got a DJ for our 90s dance party as well.
It's actually a video DJ that
It's a
plays
video-
all
all the
the
music
old,
videos.
authentic.
That's
MTV
awesome.
Yeah.
videos.
Where is this going to be?
That's going to be at the Homestead Park in Williston.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a brand new place.
Yeah, it's a brand new gathering place. It's really nice. Then
And how do you what's the cost? Like how do you enter? How do you buy a ticket to these events?
they're all free. That's another thing. All of our events are free.
That was a gotcha question.
All of our events are free.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so nothing's better than free.
Yeah.
So how can you afford to put on these events?
You want to handle that?
Well, sponsors.
Yeah.
Bottom line, is as long as we cover our costs, our expenses. I'll be flat out honest with you. We don't make a ton of money off these.
Right.
There are bigger events that we do well with, but a majority of these we do it for the community. We do
Passion
it because
projects.
it's our passion.
Yeah.
And we make sure that we get enough sponsors to cover the cost of the event so we can keep it free parking, free admission. I don't think we've done an event up here yet that we've charged anything for.
Wow.
So
that's great.
You know, it's just
awesome.
giving somebody something different to do. And that's what we do, because when people ask us what Premier is all about, Premier Events NCF, there's not a client that can't come to us that we can't create something for.
Right.
I don't care. I mean, as long as the budget's there, we can bring you anybody you want. As far as talent-wise, we have the connections. We can come up with, clients would come to us in the past and just say, hey, this is my budget. Can you create a concept for me? Okay, sure. And we'd agree on it. We'd produce it for them and call it a day.
That's great. And you guys are keeping sharp by doing all these events.
Yeah.
And at the end, so that's 2 events in the next, 40 days.
44 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, and so then you guys got more events coming in through the summer too.
Yeah, well, we do the fireworks show for the city of Williston and the city of Archer. Then we kick into the fall, and we start that with the Williston Fiesta, which is our Hispanic Heritage Festival, September 23rd.
That's great.
Downtown Williston again. That's followed up by our October 21st, the International Food and Music Festival in downtown Williston. Rocktoberfest is October the 28th, back at the Homestead Park in Williston.
Rocktoberfest, that one sounds.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a classic rock band, and it's gonna have a Halloween theme to it. So we'll probably have an adult costume party out there for it as well. Then November 11th is our big Gift Thanks Music Festival, a salute to veterans.
And this year we're incorporating an actual classic car show into that.
Yes.
event.
So that's kind of interesting too. So I've always seen these classic car shows. Like, how do you even begin? Do you reach out to car aficionados?
All the car clubs.
Okay, the car clubs.
The car clubs.
We have relationships with several car clubs within the area, but outside the area as well that come. They'll drive miles and miles.
And they all talk to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys are driving business to Williston. And I mean,
Yes.
has the mayor given you the key of the city yet?
He has given us he did give us a proclamation.
We've actually got 2 proclamations.
Well, you guys are earning your proclamations then, because it sounds like you're bringing a ton of outside interest into the city, which is obviously a huge deal for Williston. Because Williston's been out, it's got a really storied history. I mean, Lot.
Yes.
He's, like I said, he's a 7th
6th
generation, 6 or 7. I don't know what he said. His cousin's a 7th. He's a 6th. But apparently, a lot of the businesses have Bullock on them throughout the town.
Everybody knows that family.
Everyone knows that family, and he was telling me, how things are starting to change, and he really is looking forward to that change. He's trying to push that change, and he wants to be on the forefront because. Change is inevitable. Either you're a part of the change, or you're going to just be run. At some point, you're just going to get run over, and that's just the way it's going to be. So that's really, I think, what you guys are doing right now is really smart, because these are areas that are right now starting to change. I mean, Gainesville is already it's morphed in the last 15 years to the extent that it's gotten almost crazy large.
Yes.
And Ocala right now, Ocala is insane with what they're doing over there.
All the construction going on.
All the construction, all the commercial companies, all the people moving, the villages, that didn't exist 15 years ago.
Yes.
This is all.
And then, of course, you have World Equestrian Center.
The World Equestrian Center.
Which just blew up Ocala.
The World Equestrian Center is like the Taj Mahal of horses. If you haven't been out to the World Equestrian Center, please do yourself a favor.
Here's a little fact about the World Equestrian Center. Bill and we assisted them with their soft opening for the first 7 months.
Really?
Yeah, when they were doing the construction, the hotel and all the arenas out there, we were providing entertainment on the weekends.
Oh, that's great.
And so little by little, we were drawing people to the World Equestrian Center. They would come up to, we didn't even know this place was here.
No one
drawing
does.
Their attention.
But once you go there, then you're like, this is, I mean, it's got some really, like, out of this world architecture. The restaurants are amazing.
It's beautiful.
All of the I mean, I don't know much about horses, but the arenas seem to be like world class.
Yes. Yeah. They're immaculate.
They're immaculate. Yeah. So Ocala is the horse capital of the world. And now we've got the Taj Mahal, the 8th wonder of the world, sitting there in the middle of Marion County. But so I really think there's something here. I hope everyone is able to make it this weekend. I know you guys are really busy. We appreciate you coming out here, spending your time on this podcast, and hopefully Lot will be a fair judge. If he's not, you let me know, and I'll
Looking forward to seeing you, Lot.
I'll give him some feedback there. So we've got a few minutes left. Why don't we talk a little bit about how people can contact you if they want to throw an event, or if they have any ideas that they want to talk to you about, and what type of events that you guys are open to discussing with people out there.
Well, you can find us on Facebook at Premier Events NCF. That's NCF for North Central Florida. You can call 954-854-2364. And basically...
you give them my phone number.
Absolutely. I'm going to give my phone number.
I see the Fort Lauderdale area code, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's basically nothing we can't do. We will work within your budget parameters. We've done Sweet 16s. We've done wedding receptions. We've done weddings. We've done corporate events. We've done indoor arena concerts. We've done outdoor concert festivals. Whatever it is that you want to do, nonprofit, we will create it for you. Just give us a call. We'll work within your parameters, and we'll make it happen. There's nothing we can't do for you. We're very creative.
Just as an example, I mean, we do a lot with, we have a good relationship with Oak Hall School.
Yeah.
And Freddie's kids go there. And I've known Freddie for years back. And we've created a relationship with them. And May 6th, we're actually doing a daddy-daughter dance there that they approached us about. And they were like, hey, I think it'd be pretty cool to bring a horse and carriage out there. Can you do that? I go, come on.
Yeah. No problemo. Yeah.
It's great working with them, but their only problem is they're always kind of like calling me at the last minute. Hey, Bill, I hate to ask you this 2 weeks out. Okay, we'll pull it off, and we always have, but it's the littler things like that.
Where would you even find a carriage, though?
We got connections.
All right.
We've actually flown in reindeers.
Yeah, we had the only live reindeer out at World Equestrian Center for their first annual Christmas event.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
So that's the unique thing about Premier Events is that there's nothing that we can't.
So, is there a website, or do you guys have a website or a Facebook?
No, we're primarily social media, Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, so if you, we're all gonna get on. We're all gonna follow Premier NCF. Is there anything else that the audience out there should know about y'all before we wrap up the show today?
No, we love doing stuff for the public. We take suggestions too. If there's something you've wanted to see in this market, in this area, please just drop us a line. Let us know. We'll see what we can do about making it happen.
Great. Yeah. Well, that was a heck of a show. Usually we have a break, but we went right through. You guys are definitely radio professionals here. And the podcast, for those that don't know out there, is available on audio and or video. We're on, I think, 30 or 40 different platforms. And we've got this beautiful podcast room. I mean, if you guys haven't seen this yet,
it's amazing. We were looking at this.
This is all of the helmets that Spurrier actually wore, plus a few extra ones. But it's a really cool collection of memorabilia. There's a South Carolina Gamecock one over there, and Georgia Tech. But you know what? It's his restaurant. He can do whatever he wants in his own restaurant.
You know, that brings something to my attention. Actually, it's funny because the other thing we get asked a lot is sponsors. We can create customized packages for sponsors too. That's the biggest thing about our creativity level is we're not traditional promoters. We'll just give you this package and that's all you're. No, we'll customize.
That's cool.
The event around our sponsors. That's another thing.
Well, we had a great show. Ovidio, thank you for coming on. Bill,
thank you for having us.
And we look forward to Makin Bacon again this weekend. Head out to Williston. You cannot miss it if you take Williston Road from Gainesville or from anywhere in North Central Florida. It's going to be at the Heritage Park from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And our newest Meldon Law attorney, Lot Bullock, will be participating as a judge for the best bacon dish contest. So without further ado, we're going to sign off from this week's episode of Meldon Law and Friends. Have a good week.